Hello, family. It's Uncle Casey, and I just thought I would try and make a short video that explains fantasy baseball in general, just how it works, what it actually is. I know there's some people who are like, "I'll do it because I think the grandkids are going to be on." Not going to name any names, but they're like, "I have no idea what this is or how it all works." So I figured instead of trying to meet with everyone on Zoom like an hour before we draft, I'll just make this video. I'm going to try and make it as short as I can, but I can make this video and then you can go back and rewatch any part of it that you like ahead of tomorrow or anytime during our fantasy baseball league. Okay, so first things first, there are 12 teams. Teams are like, I think their managers are the people who run each team. So some teams have two managers, like I know Lindsay and Declan are one team, Carly and Maxine are one team. I think mom and dad are one team. So we will have 12 teams in our league. The long and short of it is fantasy baseball works like this. You draft a team, so you'll have, like in my case, I haven't renamed my team yet. It's Casey's competitive team, and you'll have a roster of players on your team. Those players are real life players, like in the pros. So you see here from this list, you have Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., Mookie Betts. Some of those names might be or might not be too familiar. Juan Soto, that's a familiar name. Fernando Tatis Jr., obviously. So all of these players. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we will draft our team. I'll talk about that in just a second. But you're going to draft real life professional players. And then based on how those players do in real life is going to determine how well your team does. So if you draft a player on your team, you want to pay attention to what they do each week to see if they're hitting well or if they're pitching well or if they're not. Okay, so let's talk about that. So we're gonna make it as simple as we possibly can for you. So that means on our roster, you will have every position in the field on your roster, almost just like any other regular baseball team. Doesn't matter if it's Little League or the pro. So you will have one catcher, one first baseman, one second baseman, one third baseman, one shortstop, three outfielders. Doesn't matter if they all play left field, all play center field, or all play right. Three outfielders, just as long as they play the outfield. And then you get one, it's called a utility guy, which is kind of like a DH. They could play any position. Okay. So you will draft one of every position. Then you're going to draft five starting pitchers, just like in the pros, they usually have five starters. You're going to draft five starting pitchers, and you're going to draft two relief pitchers. A relief pitcher in fantasy is listed as a reliever, even if they're a closing pitcher or a closer. So you'll have two relievers, and then you have three bench spots. Your bench spots could be two pitchers and one batter. They could be two batters and one pitcher. They could be three batters. They could be three pitchers. Doesn't really matter. They're just extra players that you're going to draft. And then you're going to choose every week who to leave on your bench and then who to put in your starting roster. Okay. So in a lot of fantasy baseball leagues, you have to update your roster every single day. Not in this league. In this league, we're going to make it really, really simple. That would be way too much work. So every Monday morning, I'm going to try to send out like a reminder text. Maybe Trevor can also on Monday mornings to just double check your roster and make sure that everyone is ready to go. If you want to take a look then and see how my guy's been doing, for instance, if you have an outfielder on your bench and you look at your other outfielders and you're like, oh, I've got this one guy who's been playing really, really bad. I might want to sub him out, have him sit the bench for a week, and then have the other guy play, right? So you're only going to get points for your players that are active, not for any of your bench players. If a player's left on the bench, you're not going to get any points for him, even if he hits like six grand slams or something crazy. Okay. Um, let's talk about scoring. Okay, well, so first I mentioned earlier there's gonna be 12 teams. So how it's gonna work is we're gonna draft our team tomorrow. I'll talk about the draft just one second. And then every Monday you will start a new game basically where your team is going to earn points based on players playing in real games from Monday through Sunday. And then every Monday, you start a new matchup. So every week, it'll be like me against Trevor. And then my team against the next Monday will be my team against Maxine and Carly's team. And then the next Monday, it'll be my team against Tommy's team, right? So you're just going to go through like a regular schedule, basically. And then depending on who has the most points in each of the categories is going to determine if your team wins, loses, or ties. There are ties, but it's neither here nor there kind of. So we'll end up with 8 teams are going to go to the playoffs, and then we'll go down to, just like any other playoff bracket. The next week it'll be four. Only the winning teams will advance, and then we'll go to the championship on the week of September 15th. Um, so let's talk really, really quick so that you can plan ahead if you'd like to strategize a little bit. There's a couple things that you should know if you want to think strategy. One is how do you actually score points? Okay, so um, if you're drafting a batter, it doesn't matter how they play the field at all. Okay, you could draft someone like, let's say, maybe like a Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson is a solid hitter, great defensive player. Maybe somebody else. I don't know. Think of like a really, really good defensive player, not a great hitter. Probably not a good idea to draft that player because as you'll see, let me zoom in here. Any of these, um, any of these batting categories here, there's no fielding categories. So the only way to score points is either with batters or with pitchers. Now, for batters, here are the areas where you can earn points. You either earn points if your players score a run, if they cross home plate, if they hit a home run, obviously, if they hit a batter in, so if they hit a RBI, if they steal a base, and then on their overall batting average. So that depends on if they get a base hit. It's just batting average. It's not on base percentage. And then for pitchers, when you're drafting pitchers, here's what to look for. The way that you score points with pitchers is through strikeouts, through earning wins. That means that a starting pitcher stays out for at least 5 full innings and their team wins. Saves, which is closing pitchers or a relief pitcher in this case. Earned run average, that means he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He doesn't allow lots of runs when he's pitching. And then walks plus hits per innings pitch. You don't really have to worry about that too much. You just don't want to draft a guy who's known to walk a bunch of batters. There's plenty of good pitching right now in the MLB, so I think you're going to have plenty of room to draft. Really, I think all of our teams are going to have pretty quality pitchers. Even though we each get 5, I think we'll all have lots of good pitchers. Okay, so that's how you score. So based on these categories, the more points or the more players that you have earning these points, especially if you have players earning multiples. So for instance, some players are going to hit a lot of home runs, but they're not going to have a great batting average, right? So they're like, oh, they're hit a whole lot of homers, but they strike out a lot. So you're going to get a lot of points in this category, not in this one. The ideal player in fantasy baseball is someone who can hit a lot of home runs, can hit a lot of RBIs, can score lots of runs, and can steal bases. And if they're doing those things, their average should be really good. Okay. So that's just a helpful tip. Okay. Pitching, you want guys who throw a lot of strikeouts, who get wins, or who starters who go eat up lots of innings, who pitch really well. I don't know. There's lots of good pitchers in the league. Okay, so for your team, so for when we draft teams tomorrow, let's just take a quick look at that. This is how it's going to work. So our league is set to, it's called the draft order is a random order, and at 3 p.m., so 1 hour before the draft starts, this is going to automatically set a random order. I didn't choose it. No one chose it. It's just going to be totally random. So who knows? It might be my team that gets first pick. Might be Jude's team that gets first pick. Might be Mima and Papa's team gets first pick. But how it works is if you get the first pick of the draft, that means that you get to choose your player first. But that also means that you have to wait. So if you go all the way over here, you don't have to wait for team number 12 to choose, and then you get to go again. A snake draft means it drafts first, and then you go all the way through number 12, team number 12. They draft, and then it goes all the way back to you. So that means if you got the 12th position in the draft where you're like, oh man, I'm drafting last. That stinks. Don't worry too bad because that means you actually get to go back to back. Because remember, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the next round goes 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So it goes forwards and then backwards to make it more fair, okay? Um, let's just take a quick look at this. I'll show you how this works. It should be pretty easy, but once the draft starts, it doesn't slow down for you. So just bear that in mind. You get every pick. See this in the top left corner right here? Let me see if I can zoom in for you. It says drafting in and it says 15 seconds. And it's showing that I have pick number one. So I'm going to pick my player, eeny, meeny, miny, sure, Shohei. Okay. So the draft is just about to start. When it starts, you'll be able to see. Here we go. Great. It's going to make that sound and it's going to say on the clock, pick one. Okay. My team. And see how it highlights blue? I've got 20 seconds left. When we do our draft, we have 90 seconds. So you don't have to be super rushed. You just have to pay attention to how close it is to your turn. Okay. So I'm going to draft Shohei. Okay. Next is Buckle Up Birds, and he's on auto draft. So it's just going to rifle through these and see. I can go all the way to round two and see where's my next pick. It's right here. Okay. And I'm going to get back-to-back picks coming up. Okay. So while I wait for my pick, I might be looking through players. And if you see on the left hand, so here's all of our players here that are still eligible to be drafted. Look at these: Bryce Harper, Jackson Merrill. He's on the if it's an IL player, that means he's on the injured list. So just be mindful of that. If you have questions about that, reach out to me or Trevor or Jude. I think probably keep up the most on injuries, maybe even Kyle too. Okay, so now it's my draft pick again. I might go, ooh, Freddie Freeman. I'm going to draft him. Okay. So if I look over here to this little bar on my left here, see this? This is my team currently. See, I've drafted two players. Oh, I'm on the clock. I've got 20 seconds left for my next pick. I'm going to go Austin Riley, third base. Okay. So now I've got a first baseman, a third baseman, and a starting pitcher because Shohei is listed as a starting pitcher in this league, as well as a DH. So you'll have to, if you put him in the field, you have to list him as a utility player unless he's pitching. He's like the one player in the entire league that's like that. You don't have to worry about it. So hope this makes sense. So just something to be mindful of as you draft. When it's your turn next, your team will light up blue here. Watch, and you'll see we're coming up next. And now it's our turn. Instead of 30 seconds here, you're gonna have 90 seconds. Just be mindful of like right now I'm looking at really great players, right? And I might be scrolling and be like, who do I want? Who do I want? Oh, I heard this guy Junior is really, really good. I might go to draft him, but remember, I already have a third baseman. So I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't draft him. Maybe I should draft someone like Teoscar Hernandez, who's an outfielder, since I need outfielders, right? So just be mindful of like if you draft a shortstop, you can take a second one. He could sit on your bench, or he could play the utility spot. You could any batter can play in this spot, in the utility spot. Just make sure that you don't draft like four third basemen or three or four shortstops or anything like that. It's probably not what you want to do. Okay. Um. Okay. I think that kind of explains all of it, I think. If you guys have any questions at all, just reach out. Yeah, I think this will be a lot of fun. And Trevor and I talked. I think if it's all right with you guys, let's plan to have everyone put in, or everyone that's running a team. So of all 12 of us, put in $5. You could Venmo me $5. And then let's see, 12 times 5, help me out. $60, okay? So then whichever team wins first place in the championship will get 50 of those $60. Second place will get $10. So you win your money back and you get an extra $5. You could take yourself to 7-Eleven, get yourself a Slurpee and a candy bar probably. So if everyone's up for that, then when we $5 and winner is going to take $50 home. Second place will take 10. Everybody else gets nothing. Okay. Great. All right. One more quick piece of information that might be super helpful too. This is something that I just thought of that I totally forgot about. Let's take a look at our roster here. Okay, so if you notice, you'll have every position here, all the way down. So you'll draft a position, and then you have bench. Then you have this IL. IL stands for injured list. Okay, so if you have a player that gets injured, it's gonna look like this. Hello, Carly. What's up, Carly? Was it Maxi? Who was that? I don't know. All right, so if you have a player that is injured, it'll look like this. Okay, it'll show an IL, and IL 10 means he's on the injured list for 10 or less days. That means it's probably not too serious. He won't be out for long, so that's great news. Then you have guys, I can't find one, but it might be 30 days, might be 60 days. If it's 60 days, that's probably a problem. But if you just click on their name here, it'll tell you about their injury. Hello, Car. Um, so you have, okay, so here, Marte has a hamstring. He began taking ground balls and swings in a batting cage on Friday. Alex Weiner, that's a funny name, of Arizona Sports Report. Sorry. Okay. All right. Alex Weiner. Sorry. Okay. So obviously it doesn't seem like it's that serious, so that's fine. Um, Now here's what's cool about if you have a player that goes on the injured list, you go back to your team here, they will show up, say it's a Ketel Marte is a second baseman, it'll be here, it'll say his name, then it'll say IL10. You could click on his name. No, sorry, you click on this right up here. It says Manage IL. I can't click it right now because I don't have any players on my team. But you click Manage IL, and it'll show all your players. You click him, and then you say Send to IL, which is the injured list, right? When you send him to IL, that means you have one more roster spot that you can add to. So then you can go to Players, Add Players, right? And you can add whatever player you want to your roster because now that you have a player on the injured list you can add a player who's active. So you can add someone from the free agent list here as long as you have an injured player that you put on the IL. So if you forget how that works at any point, or I'll make sure I kind of watch the first couple weeks to make sure if you have injured players, that they're getting moved to the IL to make sure that it saves you roster spots. Otherwise, he will be on your active roster and he's never going to give you any points because he's injured. He's not even playing. Okay. So make sure that he's playing. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, just reach out. Good luck. Talk to you tomorrow.